Hello, students, families, coaches, judges, and spectators. We are the Green Team, also known as Beginner Group 1, and our project is called Best Before. It was created for the fight against food waste. But before we begin, let's meet the team. So Sonali will be going over our SDG and our problem. Olamide will be explaining our solution, including some challenges we faced. I will be leading a section on our prototype and explaining our features. And finally, Amina will be discussing the impact of our solution and how we differentiate from similar ones. So we also like to thank our challenge coaches and coding trainers for their continued support and insightful advice throughout the project. And so with that, Sonali, take it away.
Thank you, Hannah. So to start off, let's talk about our challenge. We chose the 12th Sustainable Development Goal, responsible consumption and production. Its main goal is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Our problem. When researching our challenge, we found that food waste is a major problem. So we decided to make that the main problem we address our solution to. Because worldwide, 1 in 7 people go to bed hungry and 20,000 die from hunger. Paradox to that, there are more adults classified as obese than underweight. Here are some statistics about food waste worldwide. 63% of food Canadians throw away are food that are still edible and could have been eaten, and about 30% of the food is wasted or lost. 650,000 loaves of bread, 1,300,000 apples, 1 million cups of milk, 470,000 eggs is the amount of food that's wasted every day by Canadians. The United States are the primary producer of food waste, with them throwing away around 30% of their food. One third of all food that's produced worldwide goes to waste, which is about 1.3 billion tons of food per year. Other solutions. Before we talk about our solution, we want to talk about other solutions by other apps. Too Good To Go allow users to buy surprise bags which contain surplus food from local businesses. Flash Food partners with grocery stores to let users buy food nearing its best before date at a reduced price. Lee Loca lets users obtain 30 to 50% off deal at a restaurant with open tables. And with that, let me hand the mic over to Alamid.
Thank you so much, Sonali. Firstly, I would like to introduce our target audience, who we want to attract with our idea. Our idea is directed at those who want to become more eco-conscious and are looking for ways to do this, since our app's main goal is to reduce food. This is so because people who want to become eco-conscious are more likely to be more motivated while using our app, meaning they're more likely to get more use out of it. Next, let's introduce our solution. To come at our problem and solve our challenge, we came up with Best Before. Best Before is a food tracker app that shows when a food item is about to expire and notifies the user of it. It also allows users to create a weekly plan to ensure they don't waste food. It also comes with other features which will be talked about in the next few slides. So now we would like to talk about some challenges we faced during the process of making our app. So first, finding a simple and fast way to submit food items and their expiry dates, since there are numerous and never-ending food items in our world. Secondly, making an app that stood out from similar ones on the App Store. Our idea was something that already existed before and has been used by other individuals and companies. To combat this, we came up with new features to make it stand out. And lastly, keeping the user motivated enough to stick with the app. Through research, we discovered that users start something that could either better themselves or the environment around them, and they end up not committing to it or not being consistent with it. So now I'm going to pass it on to Hannah to introduce some cool app features.
Thank you so much, Olamide. So Best Before has 4 main app features. So 1, tracking food with use before, best before, and expiry dates to ensure the safety, quality, and freshness of food. 2, setting notification to the user when the food is about to expire to allow them to consume it before it goes bad. 3, allowing users to plan their meals for the week by inputting food into breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack sections. And finally 4, a grocery list to allow users to keep track of what they need to buy, including letting them add frequently bought items. Here is our prototype. First off, we have our homepage, where we can navigate throughout the website using the navigation bar, or by clicking some of the sections in the body. The first section I want to show off is a quick snapshot of foods whose expiry dates are rapidly approaching. When I click on it, you can see that it sends me to the My Food page, which currently does not have a high fidelity version. By clicking Best Before, we're sent back to the home page, and we can see underneath the food expiring soon, there's Add Food to My Food, which we can either scan, which is a nice to have feature, or add food manually using a food form, which, when fully filled out, will send the newly submitted food to the My Food page. If we click back to the home page, we can see that today's plan is on the right, and it's a quick look at the different meals and snacks the user has inputted for today. When clicked on, it shows a more detailed version, including ingredients or anything else that didn't fit into the small boxes on the home page. Again, if you go back to the home page, there are two different ways to see the meals for the rest of the week, either by clicking View the Rest of the Week or Meal Plan. If I click Meal Plan, you can see that the different days of the week are all displayed there, as well as Friday, which is today, in bold as it represents today. Finally, if we go back to our home page, we can see that there is a little fun fact at the bottom which says applesauce was the first food eaten in space, and underneath it we have our Twitter and Instagram handles alongside our copyright. So we created this prototype using Figma, and I know the video bar kind of messed a bit of it up, but there is like a little white bar above our footer which had the little fun fact. And so that was just a short video going through an example flow showing off our main features. So alongside Best Before's main functions, we also came up with some nice to have features. If we had more time, we could develop them more and possibly implement them into our website. The first is to have recipes available for users based on the food in the food section, which would also give nutritional value and help people eat better. Second is finding a way to use receipts to scan food and add to the food list, as adding things manually was very annoying, would take a very long time. And finally, something small that I just did mention was the little fun food fact, which is seen on our homepage. I'm now going to pass it on to Amina.
Thank you, Hannah. Now let's introduce the impact our solution would have. We believe with our solution, food wastage will decrease and production will increase. Practicing food sustainability will become the new norm. It'll be something people will get really used to. People will lead better and healthier lifestyles and become more eco-conscious. And finally, there will be more food to go around. Now I'll be talking about our competition. As our app is an idea that's already been come up with, we would like to introduce our competition. Fridge Hero, Food Tracker app, Frigidly, and No Waste are three apps we came across while researching our solution. What makes our app stand out is that it's more organized and more user-friendly. Its aesthetic is pleasing to the eye and represents our vision and goal of what we want to see in the world. It's more organized with categories by dates and has new features included. Lastly, our plan. In order to spread awareness about our invention, we decided to go through it using social media. We created an Instagram and Twitter account for our invention to share about it, also to share our vision and goal for it. We also came up with a slogan and a hashtag to draw attention to our app and idea. We also encourage people to use our hashtag to show their progress using our app. So that includes our presentation of Best Before, our solution for food waste. Thank you all for your time and for listening to our pitch. Does anyone have any questions?
So I guess we'll pass on the virtual mic to the judges. Can't wait to hear what they have to say.
I can start us off this time. So excellent work, girls. This is wonderful. I am someone who cooks all the time. I love cooking, and I definitely struggle with food in my fridge, knowing when it's going to go bad, making sure I use it all in time. So I particularly love that you mentioned one of your future features would be adding recipes to your app. I think that would be a great way, especially to encourage people who don't cook as much at home to try and get inspired and start making things themselves, because that is a lot more sustainable than eating out often. One of my questions I had for you was about the data backing the food expiry. So I know that you had the option to manually input different food and their expiry date. But a lot of the food we buy doesn't have a specific expiry date on packaging, like fruits and vegetables. So I'm curious if you've thought about how you will get data to still include those types of food in the app as well.
So yeah, I did find that in my research, of course, not everything's going to have a set expiry date. There are guidelines that people can follow. I know that when we were first making the prototype, we thought of adding some of that stuff, but it just got a bit too complicated. But there was a lot of information, like some foods, oh, it's like a week, oh, it's a few days. And so I think if we just kind of we can create an index for very, I wouldn't say well-known foods, but foods that are regularly eaten, at least in grocery stores in our areas. If we can just give a set expiry date for each one, and then the user can use that or the app can use that to calculate when the food's going to expire, or to give like you should eat this by then sort of date.
Great idea. Yeah, there's definitely like databases out there, I think, with probably like Food Health Canada and things like that. So I'm excited when you guys do your hackathon. I'd encourage you to research that and see if you can use those databases, because I'm sure that information exists on the web. But that's great. Thank you so much.
Great, I can continue. So I thought overall your presentation was like so well done, really engaging. I loved all the UX design, so that was great. And I apologize if I missed this, but I don't think I caught anything about how you're planning to finance your app. So what resources are you planning to use to do that, and also more specifically how you're planning to market? I know you mention social media, but just more specifically, if you had any ideas.
If the girls are only taking this question, I'll do that as well. So we found that a lot of apps had paywalls, it's like you can only submit 10 foods and then you have to pay. And we thought that was so stupid. Like, you shouldn't have to pay to submit more. But to maybe run ads that kind of relate to being more eco-friendly, as well as we did think of possible incentives, we did think of just using ads. We didn't really think of other ways that we could incentivize this, because we want to be able to make sure it's accessible to everyone, and putting a paywall there would kind of just go against the message we're kind of send. Marketing wise, we hope to just spread through word of mouth. So we know people who know people, right? And we can just share our product that way. And as well as social media, we were planning on creating posts or stuff, just posts that would not only be about our app, but also about food waste in general, and how not only can you use your app, but there are these other things that you can do to help prevent food waste within your house and just in general.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that answers everything.
Yeah, like Hannah said, using social media was one of the main ideas that we had. We hope to kind of reach the right target audience, maybe do that, if this makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God. You guys are making the world a better place already.